Ladies and gentlemen, champions in the making, we live in a world where comfort is praised, where ease is celebrated, and struggle is avoided. But let me remind you of a truth as old as time. Growth never comes from comfort. Growth comes from pain. Strength is born in struggle. Every time you feel pain, every time life pushes you to your limits, every time you're tested, it is not a punishment, it's a lesson, a transformation, a signal that you're being molded into someone greater. You don't build muscle without tearing the fibers. You don't sharpen steel without fire. You don't discover your real power without adversity. Think back to every difficult chapter of your life. The heartbreak, the failure, the rejection, the loss. Those moments didn't break you, they built you. They carved out the strength, the wisdom, and the drive that you carry with you today. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. Struggle is not your curse. It's your pathway to power. Discomfort is not to be feared, it is to be embraced. When life gets hard, most people run, but not you. You're not like most people. You know that every mountain climbed, every fear faced, every tear shed is a sign that you're growing, evolving, becoming the warrior you're meant to be. So the next time you feel pain, don't quit, smile, because you're in the middle of growth. You're on the edge of a breakthrough. Remember this, easy lives make weak people, tough lives build strong souls. You were born to rise, born to overcome, born to transform pain into power. So, embrace the struggle, lean into the pain. Because on the other side of it is your greatness. Fire 10 key points. No pain, no growth. Embrace the struggle. Pain is a sign of progress. Growth never happens in comfort zones. Pain means you're evolving. Struggles shape character. The toughest experiences forge the strongest versions of ourselves. Discomfort breeds strength. Every challenge builds mental and emotional resilience. Adversity reveals power. You discover who you really are when you're tested. Failure is feedback. Don't fear failure, learn from it and rise stronger. Challenges build discipline. Struggles force you to stay committed when motivation fades. Growth requires sacrifice. You must give up who you are to become who you can be. Hard times breed innovation. When everything falls apart, we're forced to get creative. Pain is temporary, pride is forever. The struggle won't last, but the results will. The struggle is your story. One day your pain will become someone else's hope. Fire 1. Pain is a sign of progress. Growth never happens in comfort zones. Pain is not a setback, it's a signal. A signal that you're moving, a signal that you're stretching beyond who you were yesterday. Whenever you're uncomfortable, whenever you're hurting, whenever you feel like you're being pushed beyond your limits, understand this: you are progressing. The world has conditioned us to believe that if something hurts, it's bad. If it's hard, we must avoid it. If it's challenging, we should retreat. But in truth, the very moments that cause us discomfort are often the moments that shape us the most. Because the human body, the human mind, and the human soul were designed to adapt, to overcome, to grow. But only when challenged. Think about the gym. You don't build muscle by lifting light weights forever. You grow by applying tension, by pushing until it burns, by enduring that pain and going just a little further. That pain, that's microscopic damage, and when your body repairs it, it comes back stronger, denser, more powerful. That's physical growth, and life works the same way. Mental growth, emotional growth, spiritual growth, it all requires friction. It requires struggle. It requires pain. Comfort zones are prisons. They may feel safe, but they're cages that quietly shrink your potential. Inside comfort, there's no resistance. And without resistance, there's no adaptation. Without challenge, there's no improvement. That's why pain should never be seen as punishment. It should be seen as evidence. Proof that you're on the edge, that you're not stagnant, that you're moving toward a better version of yourself. And the more you learn to lean into that pain, not run from it, not numb it, but truly lean into it, you'll begin to understand that pain has a purpose. It's life's way of stretching you, preparing you, shaping you for the bigger battles ahead. Because the stronger you become through today's pain, the more capable you'll be to conquer tomorrow's mountain. Pain is the price of fire too. Struggles shape character. The toughest experiences forge the strongest versions of ourselves. Character isn't developed in moments of ease. It's not built during victories or when everything is going your way. True character is forged in the furnace of hardship. When you're tired, when you're uncertain, when you're broken down and still choose to move forward. We often admire strong people, resilient people, those who stand tall no matter what life throws at them. But what we forget is that behind every strong person is a backstory full of pain, rejection, failure, betrayal, and loss. Strength is never given, it is earned, and the currency is struggle. The truth is, struggle reveals who you really are. When everything is stripped away, when comfort is gone, when your plans collapse, when no one is cheering you on, that's when your true self rises. Will you fold, or will you fight? Will you retreat, or will you rise? These are the moments that define you, not your talents, not your success, not your image, but your response to pressure, your resilience under fire. Struggles don't just test your patience, they develop it. They don't just expose your weaknesses, they help you strengthen them. With every obstacle, you are faced with a choice: evolve or repeat, grow or remain, rise or stay broken. And the people who choose to grow, even when it's painful, are the ones who come out the other side transformed. Think about nature. Diamonds are formed under extreme pressure. Gold is refined by intense heat. The tallest trees face the strongest winds, and it's no different for you. The heavier the storm, the deeper the roots. The greater the trial, the greater the transformation. And maybe life hasn't been fair to you. Maybe you've been through things others wouldn't understand. Maybe your story is full of scars, but those scars are not shameful. They're proof. Proof that you survived, proof that you endured, proof that you kept walking through the fire even when it burned. And it's that fire that forged you. No amount of books, motivation, or inspiration can replace the life experience that struggle brings. Struggle teaches humility, it teaches empathy, it teaches perspective, it chisels away your ego and builds real grit, the kind of grit that can't be faked, the kind of strength that inspires others, the kind of character that can't be shaken by anything or anyone. Struggles don't just prepare you for life, they prepare you for leadership, they prepare you for responsibility, they prepare you for purpose. Fire 3. Discomfort breeds strength. Every challenge builds mental and emotional resilience. We often crave comfort, warmth, safety, predictability. It's natural, but comfort is not where strength is built. If you want to become unbreakable, unshakable, and unstoppable, you must make peace with discomfort. Because true strength is born in struggle, and struggle always begins with discomfort. Every challenge you face, whether it's waking up earlier than your body wants, pushing through a tough workout, staying focused when your mind wants to quit, or standing tall in moments of uncertainty. These are not just random inconveniences. These are the training grounds of your strength. Discomfort is like the weight in the gym of life. Without it, you stay weak, you stay stagnant. The more discomfort you can endure, the more powerful you become, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Mental strength isn't built when things are going right. It's built when everything seems to go wrong and you refuse to break. When your plans fail, but you keep moving. When you're tired, but you keep showing up. When you're scared, but you take action anyway. That's mental resilience. That's emotional muscle. And like any muscle, it grows when it's challenged. The more you voluntarily face the uncomfortable, the more you step into situations that stretch you, scare you, or test you, the more you begin to adapt. Your threshold increases. Your ability to stay calm under pressure increases. Your emotional control strengthens. Discomfort teaches patience. It teaches focus. It teaches grit. In discomfort, you learn to silence the noise in your head. You learn to push beyond the excuses, to find energy in the middle of exhaustion, to dig deep when nothing on the surface remains. You begin to realize that most limits are illusions, most ceilings are self-imposed, the human mind will quit long before the body is actually done, and discomfort is what breaks that mental barrier again and again until you realize how much more you're capable of. Think of every great achievement in history. Behind every success is someone who willingly endured discomfort, for towers of practice, years of sacrifice, failure after failure, until they built a version of themselves that could not be broken by pressure. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is your edge. It separates the average from the excellent. It separates those who wish from those who work. And the more you choose discomfort today, the more power you'll carry tomorrow. Fire 4. Adversity reveals power. You discover who you really are when you're tested. Everyone can talk about being strong when life is smooth. It's easy to act confident when the path is clear, the support is strong, and the results are visible. But what happens when the ground shakes beneath you? When the lights go out, the applause stops, and no one's watching? That is where your true power is revealed. Not in moments of comfort, but in the chaos, in the silence, in the adversity. Adversity doesn't create weakness, it exposes it. And it doesn't create strength either. It reveals the strength that was hidden deep inside you all along. Strength that only comes to the surface when you're pushed far beyond your breaking point. There are layers within you that you haven't even met yet. Untapped courage, resilience, endurance, fire. And you will never discover them until you are tested. Until life throws you into the storm. Until you're standing knee deep in failure, fear, or loss, and you make the decision to keep moving forward. Adversity is life's way of holding up a mirror. It shows you who you really are, not who you pretend to be, not who others think you are, but who you are at your core. Do you crumble under pressure, or do you rise when everything is against you? That moment of resistance, that struggle, that fight, that's where your greatness lies. That's where you realize your limits were never real. That you're capable of surviving what you thought would destroy you. That you're stronger, wiser, tougher than you ever believed. It's in adversity that you find clarity. You begin to understand what really matters. You begin to cut away the distractions, the excuses, the stories you've been telling yourself. You stop negotiating with your dreams. You stop waiting for ideal conditions, because when you've been through hell and survived it, you don't beg life to be easier. You get better, you get stronger, you become a weapon. History is filled with warriors who rose from the ashes of adversity, not because they had something others didn't, but because the fire didn't scare them. Because pain became their fuel, because they refused to let setbacks define them. Adversity introduces you to your real self. And once you've met that version of you, the one who doesn't quit, the one who stands tall even while bleeding, you can never go back to who you were before. Fire 5. Failure is feedback. Don't fear failure. Learn from it and rise stronger. We're raised to believe that failure is final, that it's embarrassing, that it's something to be avoided at all costs. But that belief is one of the greatest lies ever sold. The truth is, failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of it. Failure is not a dead end, it's data, it's direction, it's feedback from reality telling you, not this way, try another. Every champion you admire, every success story you hear, every breakthrough you dream of achieving, it's built on a mountain of failures, missed shots, rejected ideas, closed doors, bad decisions, broken plans. But what separates the winners from the quitters is simple: their relationship with failure. Failure is not meant to stop you. It's meant to refine you. It strips away what doesn't work. It teaches you how to think smarter, move differently, act with more precision. It humbles your ego while sharpening your instincts. It exposes weakness so you can replace it with wisdom. And sometimes, failure comes when you've done everything right. You gave your all, you sacrificed. You showed up, and it still didn't work. That kind of failure hurts the most. But even in that, there is gold. Because now you know that your value doesn't lie in the outcome, it lies in your effort, your grit, and your refusal to stay down. Failure is your coach, and like any tough coach, it's not there to pat your back. It's there to push you further than you ever thought possible. It teaches you resilience, not the kind that talks, but the kind that walks. The kind that dusts itself off and gets back in the game even when everything feels broken. If you want to grow, you must give yourself permission to fail, and fail often, not recklessly, but intentionally. With every attempt you learn, with every setback you evolve. Each failure brings you closer to mastery because every lesson compounds, every lesson sharpens your vision, every lesson toughens your skin. The people who fear failure the most are the ones who never reach their potential, not because they weren't good enough, but because they never gave themselves a chance to discover how good they could have been. Failure is not the enemy. Complacency is, regret is, fear is, and the only way to beat those things is to embrace failure as part of the journey, as the test you must pass, not by avoiding it, but by learning from it. Growing through it, rising because of it. Fire 6. Challenges build discipline, struggles force you to stay committed. When motivation fades, motivation is fleeting. It's that spark you feel after watching an inspiring video, hearing a powerful quote, or setting a bold new goal. But that spark doesn't last, because as soon as life gets uncomfortable, as soon as the early excitement wears off, motivation disappears, and that's where discipline steps in. Discipline is what carries you when your feelings betray you. It's what shows up when your energy is low, when your mood is off, when everything in you screams for comfort, and you keep going anyway. But discipline isn't something you're born with. It's not a natural talent. It's built, and it's built through challenges. Every hard thing you go through, every deadline you meet despite exhaustion, every day you show up when quitting feels easier, every workout you finish when your body wants to stop. Those moments build discipline. Quietly, relentlessly, not with applause, not with praise, but with repetition. The truth is, real growth happens when you train yourself to act regardless of how you feel, when you move forward without waiting for inspiration. That's the heart of discipline, doing what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not, and nothing strengthens that more than struggle. Struggles are where your routines are tested, where your commitments are challenged. Anyone can say they want to improve, but will you stay committed when it's boring, when it's hard, when the results aren't coming fast enough? Discipline says, I don't need to feel ready. I just need to show up. It says, even if I fail today, I'll be back tomorrow. It says, this isn't about emotion. It's about execution. And here's the powerful part. The more discipline you build through challenges, the less you depend on motivation. You no longer need external hype. You don't need someone to pump you up. You become self-driven, consistent, focused. You show up because it's who you are, not just something you do occasionally. This is why the struggle matters. Without struggle, there's no resistance. And without resistance, there's no discipline. Challenges hardwire your mind to stay locked in, even when everything feels out of control. They train you to keep moving with precision, even through chaos. The strongest people in the world aren't the ones with perfect conditions. They are the ones who trained their minds through repeated discomfort. They built a lifestyle around structure, around showing up, around following through, no matter how they felt, no matter how high the odds stacked against them. Fire 7. Growth requires sacrifice. You must give up who you are to become who you can be. Everyone wants to grow, evolve, succeed. but not everyone is willing to sacrifice. And that's where the gap lies, because growth and comfort cannot coexist. You can't hold on to your old habits, your old excuses, your old identity, and expect a new life to emerge, to become someone you've never been. You must be willing to let go of who you used to be. Sacrifice is the cost of transformation. It's the toll you pay to cross the bridge from average to elite, from ordinary to extraordinary, and that toll isn't always financial. Often, it's deeper, it's emotional. It's personal. It means sacrificing your ego, sacrificing instant gratification, sacrificing toxic relationships that keep you stuck in the same cycles, sacrificing old beliefs that say, I can't, I'm not ready, this is just how I am. You cannot climb a mountain while dragging dead weight. And often, the dead weight is internal. It's your procrastination, your self-doubt, your fear of judgment. Growth demands that you release these things, not once, but repeatedly. Every new level of your life will require a deeper version of surrender. More discipline, more focus, more sacrifice. You'll have to say no when others say yes. Wake up when others are still sleeping. Put in the reps when no one is watching. Keep going even when the progress is invisible. Because success isn't given, it's earned through thousands of micro sacrifices that the world never sees. And sometimes, the hardest thing to sacrifice isn't what's wrong with your life. It's what's comfortable. What's familiar, what's good enough, but good enough is the enemy of great. Growth doesn't ask if you're ready, it asks if you're willing to trade your comfort for challenge, your excuses for execution, your old story for a new standard, and you'll feel the cost. Growth will hurt. It will stretch your limits, strain your patience, and pull you away from the crowd. But that separation is necessary, because transformation is never convenient. It's earned through decisions made in silence, through battles fought when no one's clapping, through sacrifices only you will understand. That's why the strongest people you know, the ones who've built something powerful, carry a quiet weight. Because behind their strength are things they walked away from, things they let go of, things they sacrificed in pursuit of a future that no one else could see. Fire 8. Struggle sharpens focus. Hardship forces you to eliminate distractions and lock into what matters when life is easy. It's easy to drift, to waste time, to lose sight of what really matters. Distractions feel harmless when you're not under pressure. You scroll a little longer, you delay that decision, you push goals to next week. But when struggle hits, when life gets real, your priorities snap into focus. Hardship has a way of cutting through the noise. It forces you to confront what's essential. Suddenly, the meaningless things lose their grip. You stop chasing likes. You stop overthinking other people's opinions. You stop numbing yourself with comfort. Why? Because you're in the fire now. And when you're in the fire, every second counts. Struggle demands presence. It commands your full attention. When things fall apart, you stop multitasking. You stop pretending. You lock in. Your mind gets sharper, your decisions become cleaner, and your vision gets clearer. Not because everything is going well, but because now you're forced to focus on what actually moves you forward. That's the gift of adversity. It burns away the unnecessary. It reveals the habits, the distractions, the relationships, and even the thoughts that have been quietly draining your energy. And it puts you face with the truth. You only have so much time. You only have so much energy. So where are you placing it? People who have never struggled often leave wide but shallow. They spread themselves too thin. A little bit of effort here, a little attention there, but no depth. No intensity, no momentum, but the ones who have been tested, the ones who have had to fight for every inch. They learn to focus like a laser. They stop dabbling. They commit. They cut off what doesn't serve them. Because they've been in pain before, and pain makes you prioritize purpose. In struggle, your goals become more than just dreams. They become lifelines. You no longer chase them for fun. You chase them like your life depends on it. That kind of clarity, that kind of intensity, it's forged in the dark moments, the lonely moments, the moments when quitting whispers louder than progress. And something powerful happens when you learn to focus under pressure. You stop wasting effort. You stop starting over. You begin to operate with direction. You know exactly what matters, exactly where you're headed. And that clarity doesn't fade with the storm. It's born because of it. The struggle sharpens you not just into a survivor, but into a strategist, a builder, a doer. It makes your movements precise, your time sacred, your focus unshakable. Fire 9. Endurance is earned the more you push through, the more unstoppable you become. Endurance isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. One struggle at a time, one hard day at a time, one choice to not quit when quitting would be easier. And the truth is, most people never develop true endurance because they run at the first sign of resistance. They want results, but not the grind. They want transformation, but not the pressure that forges it. But the ones who keep pushing, the ones who take the hits and stay in the fight, those are the ones who become undeniable. Endurance is built in the repetition of struggle. When you show up again and again, despite the pain, despite the fatigue, despite the delays, you may not see progress every day, you may not feel inspired, but you keep showing up, you keep doing the work, you keep walking through the storm, and with every rip, every round of suffering, you survive, you expand your limits. You become mentally stronger, emotionally tougher, spiritually deeper. You start to realize that you don't break as easily as you used to, that your threshold for discomfort is growing, that the situations that once crushed you now sharpen you. It's not that life got easier, it's that you got stronger, your capacity increased, you adapted, you became resilient by refusing to stay down. You didn't just endure the pain, you trained in it, and over time, your endurance became your weapon. A quiet, relentless power that allowed you to keep moving when others stopped, to keep believing when the odds said otherwise, to keep building even when the pieces didn't make sense yet. Endurance is not just physical. It's the discipline to keep going in silence, to keep growing with no validation, to keep believing in your vision even when no one else can see it. It's waking up tired and choosing discipline anyway. It's falling short and still getting back up. That mindset is what separates dabblers from dominators, and it's built through exposure, through trials, through tests, through the grind that breaks down your excuses and reveals your willpower. There is no shortcut, no hack, just time, effort, repetition, and grit. Endurance doesn't come from talking about your goals. It comes from walking through the fire with them still in your hands. It's doing the thing long after the feeling is gone. Because eventually, the world stops paying attention to what you say. They pay attention to what you keep doing through storms, through setbacks, through suffering. Fire 10. Pain is a teacher. Every struggle holds a lesson that elevates your life. Pain doesn't come to punish you. It comes to prepare you, to awaken you, to teach you what comfort never could. Because when everything is easy, you learn nothing. But when pain enters the room, you pay attention. You're forced to. Pain makes things real. It humbles your ego and heightens your awareness. The truth is, most of the deepest lessons in life are written in discomfort. They're taught through tears, through loss, through failure, through disappointment. These are the experiences that change your mindset, shift your perspective, and deepen your wisdom, not just for a moment, but forever. When you go through struggle, you start to see what really matters. The things you used to complain about suddenly feel small. The things you used to chase no longer excite you, because pain recalibrates your soul. It pulls you inward. It makes you reflect, adjust, and grow. And if you listen, truly listen, every painful moment carries a message. Maybe it's showing you your limits, or maybe it's exposing a toxic pattern. Maybe it's revealing a weakness you didn't want to admit. Maybe it's redirecting you from something that was never meant for you. Whatever the reason, pain is a mirror, and it will reflect everything that needs to change in your life if you're brave enough to face it. Most people numb their pain, they run from it. They try to distract themselves with noise, comfort, and avoidance, but growth doesn't live there. Growth lives in the honest confrontation with your pain, when you sit with it, understand it, and extract its meaning. That's where the transformation happens, because the lesson isn't in the pain itself, it's in what you do with it. Will you let it make you bitter, or will you let it make you better? Will you let it break you, or will you let it build you? That decision defines your destiny. Some of the most powerful people you'll ever meet carry invisible scars, wounds that the world never sees, but ones they've used to fuel their greatness. They didn't just survive pain, they studied it, learned from it, turned it into purpose, turned it into perspective, turned it into power. That's what pain offers if you're willing to lean in. It offers wisdom, clarity, strength, self-respect. Because every time you rise after falling, every time you learn instead of complain, every time you choose growth over comfort, you become something more. Let me know when you're ready for the full motivational speech on this title. No pain, no growth, embrace the struggle. I can now craft it using all 10 themes we've built together. Every person you admire, every story of greatness you look up to, was born in the fire of struggle. Success is not some polished highlight reel, it's a battle. And the deeper you want to go in life, the more you must be willing to endure. Because let's get one thing straight, pain is not the enemy, comfort is. And if you want to grow, if you truly want to become the strongest version of yourself, you have to embrace the hard, the ugly, the uncomfortable. 1. Struggle is the soil where strength grows. You don't become strong by avoiding hardship. You become strong by surviving it. Struggle is the gym for your soul. Every challenge is a weight you must lift. Every obstacle is resistance that builds your resilience. Comfort never taught you how to fight. Ease never revealed your power. But struggle introduced you to the warrior inside. 2. Pain wakes you up. Growth doesn't happen in numbness. Pain snaps you out of autopilot. It wakes you up to who you really are. When you're numb, you drift, you settle, you tolerate mediocrity. But pain, it demands your attention. It forces you to reflect, to feel, to face the truth you've been avoiding. And inside that discomfort lies a message. It's time to change. It's time to rise. 3. Growth lives outside the comfort zone. You cannot stay the same and become someone new. That old version of you, the one addicted to excuses, delay, and comfort, has to die so the new version can live. Growth requires risk. It requires fear. It requires movement into the unknown. And yes, it's terrifying, but so is staying stuck. So is regret. Growth demands that you stretch until it hurts, then stretch further. 4. The struggle builds character, not just muscles. This journey isn't just about physical grit. It's about who you become when things don't go your way. Will you cheat or will you commit? Will you blame or will you own your path? True growth isn't just what you do, it's who you become. And that identity is forged in the moments of pain, not pleasure. 5. Failure is feedback. Don't fear it. Learn from it. You will fail. You will fall. But those failures are not dead ends. They're redirections. They're your personal coaches showing you what to improve. Stop treating failure like it's shameful. It's not. It's essential. The most successful people are not the most talented. They're the ones who refused to stop learning. Failure didn't break them. It built them. 6. Challenges build discipline. When motivation fades, discipline remains. Motivation will leave you, but discipline stays. And nothing builds discipline like doing the hard thing, day after day, even when no one's watching. Struggle teaches you to push through boredom, to grind through fatigue, to act without applause, because winners don't depend on how they feel. They depend on who they've become. 7. Growth requires sacrifice. Let go of the old you. You cannot rise without letting go. You cannot climb while carrying your old mindset. Sacrifice isn't punishment. It's the price of progress. You must trade your comfort for purpose, your excuses for execution. You must give up who you are to become who you're meant to be. 8. Struggle sharpens focus. The fire burns away distraction when everything is going well. It's easy to get lazy, but when the pressure's on, you learn to focus. Struggle simplifies life. It makes you cut the distractions. Suddenly, the petty stuff doesn't matter, the fake friends don't matter, the empty noise falls away, and what's left is clarity, direction, and deep purpose. 9. Endurance is earned, and it makes you unstoppable. No one is born with unshakable will. It's earned through repetition, through late nights, through pain. Every time you show up tired, you build it. Every time you push through when it's hard, you build it. And the more endurance you build, the less the world can shake you. Because now, you're not hoping for results. You're fighting for them. 10. Pain is a teacher. Learn the lesson or repeat the cycle. Pain always comes with a message. Are you listening? Or are you just complaining, avoiding, distracting? Because those who listen, those who learn, they turn pain into wisdom, into power, into purpose. They don't just survive their struggles, they evolve through them. Pain didn't show up to stop you, it showed up to grow you. So no matter what you're facing right now, don't run, don't numb, don't shrink. Stand up and face the fire, walk through the storm, keep pushing even when it hurts, because that pain you're feeling, it's not punishment, it's preparation, it's shaping you, toughening you, refining you, and if you stay in it, if you endure, if you keep showing up, you will rise, you will evolve, you will become unstoppable. No pain, no growth. Embrace the struggle and become everything they said you couldn't.